Thank you so much for joining me again. My name is Tyler Orr, creator of Constructed Awareness, here today to talk about a simple and effective way of working with clients to help them to connect with their bodies. So it's a sort of a somatic resource that I call Talking with Your Hands. So let me set this up just a little bit and explain why we call it Talking with Your Hands. It's my belief, it's something that we teach with Constructed Awareness, that our internal world and our external world are mirror images of each other. A lot of times people have this idea that connecting with their internal world, so their thoughts and their sensations, that's sort of a abstract, intangible sort of thing to do. It's difficult. Yet, these same individuals oftentimes can connect with their external world in a very concrete, tangible sort of way. You can, when you look around, you see things, you hear things, and that feels very real and easy to connect with. I believe our internal world is the same way, because we hear and see things with our ears and our eyes. But if you notice your thoughts, you'll notice that you're seeing things and hearing things. So you can look around the room and see colors. You can close your eyes and imagine the room, and you can see the same colors, the same shapes, the same thing. So it's all visual and auditory. That's what our thoughts are. So if you can connect with what you see with your eyes and with your ears, you can learn to connect with thoughts the same way. Well, the same is true for sensations, for connecting with the body. I view connecting with internal sensations as just sort of your internal sense of touch. It's your sense of touch on the inside of your skin. I find that people who have a hard time connecting with what they're feeling inside, they usually have a good ability to connect with what they feel on the outside of their skin. For example, they could hold up an object like this and they could feel it, and they could recognize that it has a shape, and it has a texture, it has a temperature. And these are the same things that we feel inside our skin. As far as sensation, we feel weight, we feel temperature, we feel size, all the same things that you would if you were touching something with your hands. And so I also find that a lot of times I'd ask people, what do you feel in your body? And they would respond in one of two ways that isn't very useful. So the first way they would say is that, I say, what do you feel in your body? They'd say, I feel anxious. Well, that's not really true, not according to the constructed awareness model anyway, because you don't actually feel anxious. You feel tightness, you feel heat, you feel the sensations that make up that emotional experience. It wouldn't make sense for me to hold this object and say, this feels anxious. All right, see, that doesn't really fit. It doesn't really make sense. Also, I'd ask people a lot of times, what do you feel in your body? And they would answer with a judgment. They'd say, it feels bad. And that's not really useful either. And it wouldn't make sense to hold up an object like this and say, this feels bad. See, that doesn't really fit. So what we're looking for when we're asking someone, what do you feel in your body? It's more of an accurate, descriptive, non-judgmental way of connecting with it. I used to do presentations with a doctor and a physical therapist on chronic pain. And the doctor, his name was Matt. And during the presentation, I would present this material and I would ask the audience, I would say, I'm going to say two different sets of phrases to Matt, and I'd like you to notice how your body responds. So the first thing I said, I would say something like, Matt, you're ugly, your shirt is ridiculous looking, and your presentation was terrible. And you could feel the tension in the room as everybody tensed up in response to that. Then I would say something like, Matt, you have a beard, your shirt's blue, your presentation was 45 minutes long. See how, and there was like a neutral response. There wasn't any activation. A lot of times whenever we connect with and describe our sensations using judgments, it creates more tension. Even if we describe our sensation with an emotion like anxiety, that creates more tension too, because of the negative meaning that's associated with a word like anxiety. So the most effective way I found to help clients connect with their internal sensations is to encourage them to connect with and describe their sensations only using words that they would use if they were touching something with their hands. So here on the screen is the handout called Talking with Your Hands, And it's free for you to use however you want, whether it's in your practice to help clients or it's for you to help you deepen your own awareness of what you feel in your body. If you go to constructedawareness.com, go to the free materials page, you can download it there and it's yours to keep. If you're watching the video on YouTube, just check the bio and I put the link in there for you to use. So let's just take a look at the handout together. So the first question on the list here is, where is the sensation located? Now, for a lot of folks, identifying where the sensation is located just in itself is a big deal. We locate things with our hands, so this is a great place to start. The sensation that you're noticing, does it feel like it's deep inside the tissue, or is it more on the surface? A lot of times people will say, I feel a sensation here. How deep in does it go? And they say like really deep. Well, do you feel it on the back of your neck? Does it go all the way through the other side? No. Okay, so there's a point where it stops. Yeah, so it's more toward the front. Is that right? Yeah, I would say so. And so first is location. Second, we have what is its temperature. Is it hot? Is it warm? Is it cool, cold, or is it neutral? Is it just body temperature? Right. So next we have how big is it? Is it big? Is it medium? Would you call it small? Whatever the client says, whatever you come up with if you're practicing on your own is fine. Next we have what's its shape. Is it round? Is it spherical? Square? Triangular? Is it flat? Thin? Jagged? Spherical? Or uneven? So be careful when you're working with a client or if you're practicing this on your own that you're not just connecting with thought and imagining its shape. It's almost like if you were to feel this object with your eyes closed and you'd never felt it before, you could tell how it feels. So that's what we're looking for. Just through the connection of the sensation, can you tell the shape? So next we have, what kind of boundary does it have? This might be my favorite question. This object has a defined boundary. There's a point where this object ends and the rest of the world begins, and you can feel that point. So when you feel into the sensation, can you find that point where the sensation ends? Is there a defined place where that sensation stops and everything else begins, or does it sort of radiate out or fade out? A lot of times I'll think about like Earth is like a rock planet. If something flew into it, it would hit the surface. So there's a defined surface, a defined boundary. Whereas one of the gas giants, if you flew something into it, it would just sort of go into it and eventually be, crushed by the density in the middle. So does it radiate or fade out? Next we have, does it move or change? So is it still? Is there any sort of energetic quality? Any pulsing, vibrating, anything like that? And a lot of times I'll encourage clients, if they say that it's pulsing, for example, can you show me with your hands how big it's pulsing and the speed that it's pulsing? Or if it's spinning, can you show me which way and the speed that it's spinning? Is there a flow to this sensation? Does it feel like it's moving down, right? And what tells you that? So it's like connecting with that. So finally we have the question, does it have any other qualities? So this is just a list of words that are useful, sensation vocabulary words that you would use if you were touching something. If you're practicing this on your own, you can just go through this list and see if any of the words connect with what you're feeling. If you're a therapist doing this with a client, you're welcome to just read the words and let them acknowledge yes or no that fits the sensation. Now this isn't the end all be all of words. If you have other words that come to mind that describe it, then that's great too. So that's it for today. I just wanted to make this video and make this handout available to you. Again, you can go to constructedawareness.com, the free materials section, and download it. It's yours to keep and do whatever you want with it. And I'd love to hear how it's working for you, how it's useful. You're welcome to leave a comment on the YouTube video, or you could email me. That information is on the Constructed Awareness website. I always like to mention this, if you want to learn more about constructed awareness or this specifically, you're welcome to attend our free monthly consultation sessions. That information is on the Constructed Awareness website. You don't have to be trained in CA to attend. Just show up and we'll teach you. Also, if you want to attend a Constructed Awareness training and actually become trained in it, that information is on the website too. So thank you so much for joining me today. This has been fun. Take care.